My name is Doug McGarrah, and it's my honor to be the chair of the board of the Boston Harbor Island Alliance. And I'm joined today by Tom Powers, who is the president of the Boston Harbor Island Alliance and who is the one who actually makes all these things happen for us. And before we get started, we would like to take a moment of silence and reflection for the loss of life and the devastation that was caused by the tornadoes that were suffered last night in central and western Mass. And I note that the governor is actually out in western Mass along with Secretary Sullivan attending to that. So if we could just take a pause here for a minute. Thank you, everyone. Now, we are here today to celebrate the completion of this wonderful, and I'm going to use the word iconic structure, that was designed by Util and Tim Love and constructed by Turner Special Projects and brought to you with funds from our delegation in Washington, led by our beloved departed Senator Kennedy and Congressman Capuano. But of course we all know that you can't build anything on the Rose Kennedy Greenway, and that nothing can happen and nothing gets done and nobody comes out here. And that perhaps it would take an act of Congress to get something done here.
Wait a sec, Doug. Didn't we get an act of Congress?
And that it would require an act of, a special act of the Great and General Court.
Wait a second, Doug. I think we got one of those too.
And then it would require the approval of the Federal Highway Administration, all those federal bureaucracies.
I think we got that too, Doug.
And that it would require the approval of the State Environmental Affairs and all the bureaucracy there.
I think we got that one too.
And it would require the approval of the impossible BRA in the city of Boston.
Unbelievably, I think we got that too, Doug.
So we did it, and we're very proud of this. And now let me turn the program over to Tom Powers.
Thanks, Doug, and welcome everybody. This really is a terrific day, and we're really glad that you could join us to celebrate this first building on the Rose Kennedy Greenway. We are extremely excited to be part of the Greenway and to help bring activity to it. Before I introduce the first speaker, I just want to give a quick shout out to a few people who were really critical to making this happen. First of all, on the programs that hopefully you all have on the back is a list of all the different subs, all the men and women who contributed so much and actually built this structure, headlined by Turner Special Projects, Util Design, Reed Hildebrand, Landscape Architects. They were just really a fabulous team to work with. Also want to give a special shout out to our colleagues at the Rose Kennedy Greenway Conservancy. They also are great partners. We are very much looking forward to a long and productive relationship with them as we both figure out how to make the Greenway really the exciting, excellent landmark for all of Boston. And finally, as a thank you, I want to particularly highlight the donors who have contributed to this and are going to ensure that Boston Harbor Island Alliance is able to maintain and operate this in a first-class manner that we're all proud of. GDF Suez is our major corporate donor. I know Frank Cadillac, I saw you here. Thank you very much to them. The foundation, State Street Foundation, Cabot Foundation, and Smith Foundation, thank you very much. Jim and Kathy Stone, the Island Alliance Board of Directors, and a particular shout out to George and Andy Macomber. A lot of you may know the Macombers. They're not able to be here today because of illness, but they were the first donors. And if you're a fundraiser, you know you have a special place in your heart for that first donor that really makes you think, okay, maybe this is possible. So thanks to all of you for all the contributions you've made. As Doug said, both the governor and Secretary Sullivan are out in the western part of the state touring the devastation from yesterday. I am reminded of the fact that last year, a year ago, we had the groundbreaking for this project, and that was the time of the MWRA water main break, and Secretary Sullivan couldn't be here, or Secretary Bowles at the time couldn't be here. So in that instance, and in this instance, we have very capable replacement. The Undersecretary of Environmental Affairs, the head of the Boston Harbor Islands Partnership, a man who's done a lot of work for the islands, is an ex officio member of the Board of Directors of Boston Harbor Island Alliance. Here on behalf of both the governor, or on behalf of Secretary Sullivan, Dave Cash.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you very much, Tom. Thank you, Doug. It's never good to have to step in the governor's place or Secretary Sullivan's place, and especially for the reason today. And again, our thoughts are with folks in Western and Central Mass who are coping with the devastation of yesterday. And of course, the governor wished he could be here, and the secretary, to celebrate this incredible accomplishment, this incredible gateway to the Boston Harbor Islands. And as Doug and Tom had mentioned, it's an incredible partnership that has brought this to fruition and has brought all of the incredible things that are going on in the island. Of course, so much of the celebration today belongs to what's happened in Congress with Senator Kennedy, Congressman Kapwanu, who had been fearless champions of what has gone on the islands. Of course, with our own agencies, Secretary Mullen, who you'll be hearing from, Mayor Menino and his team as well, and of course our own energy and environment agencies, Commissioner Lambert from DCR, Secretary Sullivan, who had the pleasure to be DCR Commissioner and worked again tirelessly to make the islands what they are today as well. National Park Service has been incredible coming to the plate, and of course Tom Powers and his team with Doug on the Boston Harbor Island Alliance, who managed this whole process in the last year or so. And they can laugh now at all of the challenges that they went through, but it was really through incredible grit that they got accomplished what was accomplished. So incredible celebration to them. And especially to the folks, if you look behind me, you can see the folks in their uniforms and their hats. These are the people day to day, who will be at the booths here, who will be on the islands, greeting and meeting people, taking kids on tours, families on tours, some of them sleeping on the islands regardless of the weather. And you have all done a fantastic job and will continue to do a fantastic job, especially in this, and we really appreciate your work. I know this has been called a gateway to the islands, and what does that mean? And I think, you know, for all of us standing here, who when this is finished, we're going to go back to our offices, etc. But what is this a gateway to? This is a gateway to kids who in Boston, the first time in their lives, are on the water, going out to the islands to participate in a school program or with their families. 14,000 kids last year, as part of school trips, went out to the islands. What is this a gateway to? This is a gateway to families swimming off the beaches of some of the islands in Boston Harbor. This is incredible and a testament to the incredible work of MWRA. This is a gateway to campers waking up on an island in Boston Harbor to watch the sunrise. This is a gateway to science classes from schools all around the Boston Metro coming here to study tide pools. This is a gateway to science that is done on the island by professors in a number of universities here studying the biodiversity. Did you know there are 154 indigenous species of bees who live on the islands? Something that we also are proud of. This is people watching concerts on the islands. This is a Civil War history. When you go out to the fort on George's Island and you touch those cool stone walls that were witness to our troops who were working to heal a divided nation. That's what you see when you go out there. And that's what this is a gateway to. And all of the people here who have worked hard here and all of the people who will be continuing, this is the gateway that they offer to Boston and to tourists from all over the world who will be coming here. Thank you very much. This is a wonderful day.
Great. Thank you very much, David. To pick up on David's theme, that this gateway that has been created actually was the opportunity to build this gateway was created by the Central Artery Tunnel Project in two important ways. First, we have this beautiful Rose Kennedy Greenway and the pavilion behind me that will welcome visitors and all the wonderful things that David described. And second, one of our most popular attractions is visitors out to Spectacle Island, which is a very short 15-minute ride from the ferries leaving over here on Long Wharf. And if anyone has been out there from last summer for the lobster bakes or the June 18th road race that we're running, Spectacle Island is a wonderful treasure in Boston Harbor, and it was really restored and created through the opportunity of the Central Artery Tunnel Project. So now, in that transportation theme, it's my great pleasure and honor to introduce Secretary CEO of the Mass Department of Transportation, Jeffrey B. Mullen.
Thanks, Doug. I think for a second there, the mayor wanted my job.
Nobody wants your
Oh. Well, I don't want your job, Mayor, and you don't want my job. So let me do my job. They've given me, I don't know if anybody's seen this program, this is probably only my copy. They've given me a minute and a half to boil down 25 years of work that we've all, you all, we all, everyone here has put in to making this day possible. I was fortunate to have been here in 1987, and I feel extremely fortunate to still be standing here in 2011. I'm very happy to be here with Secretary Cash, with Boston Harbor Alliance President Tom Powers, the chair of the board, my good friend Doug McGarrah, the mayor, Mayor Tom Menino, for whom this represents the merger of two great visions of his. One is the Rose Kennedy Greenway, and the other is the unlocked potential of the Boston Harbor Islands. Vicki Kennedy, of course, who's been a terrific friend and partner of the Greenway, and whose husband, Senator Edward Kennedy, made much of this possible. Thank you very much for all of that. Superintendent Bruce Jacobson and National Park Service, and of course, the men and women behind us who will be policing and shepherding tourists through this facility. We stand here today like no place in America on the Rose Kennedy Greenway at this beautiful pavilion made possible through the work of many, the leadership of Senator Kennedy, and well on its way with the help of the Rose Kennedy Greenway Conservancy to being open, green, excellent, and available to all. This is another step in the wisdom of conducting the Central Artery Project in the first place and linking two of our great jewels, the Greenway and the Harbor Islands. And I'm happy, and I'm happy on behalf of Governor Patrick, Lieutenant Governor Murray, to be with you today and to be a part. I just want to say that when you're the Secretary of Transportation, you see water on top of the Thomas P. O'Neill Jr. Tunnel. There is no cause for concern. The Harbor Islands National Park area is one of two such parks created by the Congress and operated under a formal partnership made up of stakeholders. That makes this facility truly unique. I can't thank the Boston Harbor Alliance enough for its management, design, and construction of this pavilion and the partnership that it has had with all of the stakeholders involved. It's a marvelous facility, designed by Util Design and Reed Hildebrand, and built by Turner Special Projects. To those of you from that team, kudos to all of you. I also want to comment on my partners in state government, Secretary Cash, Secretary Sullivan, for the net zero energy aspect of this facility, and to comment specifically on the solar panels. We greatly appreciate all that this facility stands for and that it represents. On behalf of Governor Patrick, Lieutenant Governor Murray, the men and women of the Massachusetts Department of Transportation, thank you all for making this day possible. Let's make it great.
Thank you very much, Secretary Mullen, and thanks to you for all the work you do and all the men and women who work for you. We obviously are the beneficiaries of the incredible transformation that of the city that the Big Dig brought, and we much appreciate that and look forward to continuing to work with you. Before I introduce our next speaker, it is always dangerous to single out any individuals because I'm sure I'll forget a few, but I do want to recognize Representative Aaron Michlowitz, who has joined us somewhere over here. Hi, Representative, and Representative Nick Collins. There was a point where we really did need some help from the legislature to push us through the next barrier, and Representative Michlowitz was particularly critical in getting that done. Also wanted to give a shout out to Commissioner, DCR Commissioner Lambert and DEP Commissioner Kimmel, both of whom I saw here. We look forward to continuing to work with you. Our next speaker is really, people say, needs no introduction. This is really true in the case of Mayor Tom Menino of Boston. But I do want to make one particular point. Before people saw the opportunity and the potential of the islands, Mayor Menino really did. He has long been just a tireless champion of the islands. He is a great partner to Boston Harbor Island Alliance. He's a great mayor for the city and has really presided over a wonderful transformation. We are very pleased he's able to join us here today, Mayor Tom Menino.
Thank you, Tom, and congratulations to everyone from the Harbor Island Alliance. What a great day in the neighborhood, isn't it? It's a fabulous day. You know, a lot of folks write a lot of stories about the Greenway. Nobody uses it. It's barren wasteland. But did anyone come down here this weekend and see how many thousands of people are on the Greenway? All the folks who, there's no shot at anybody, who write those stories in the media, they all go back to Weston, Sutton, they go someplace else. They're not in the city of Boston on the weekend. This place is a beehive of activity. It's a new great place to come in the summer months, fall and spring, and I want to thank so many folks for making this day possible. I want to, of course, thank our beloved late Senator Kennedy, for securing funds to take the Harbor Park Pavilion from a dream to a reality. The first new building on the Greenway that bears his mother's name. I want to thank Vicki for being with us today. Thank you, Vicki, for being here today. Take part in this very special ceremony. But I also want to recognize Barbara Capuano for being here representing her husband. And also serving on the Boston Harbor Islands board. She should not be here representing her husband. She takes an active part in the Harbor Islands. Thank you, Barbara, for doing that. Thank you. It's great to be here, like everyone's saying, the Boston Harbor Island Pavilion. This pavilion will strengthen two of our most treasured public assets, Boston Harbor and its islands, and the Rose Kennedy Greenway. We are fortunate to have the amazing Boston Harbor and its islands. There are such unique features and such a real asset to our city. The Harbor Park Pavilion will serve as a gateway to the islands, and like Tom said, it's always been our dream to make those islands accessible. And today, because of the pavilion, those islands will be accessible. No other city in America has islands right off its coast there, and people go out there, and more people use them now. George's Island, the governor's put money aside to really do the revitalization of the George's Island. Look at other programs we have out there today. You know, a few years ago, you weren't able to go out to the islands, but because of a lot of folks who are standing around here, because of government working together, we're able to say, those are our islands. We're going to use those islands. There are opportunities for us, and I just want to say thank you. The maps that we have here, the exhibits, the pavilion will make the islands even more accessible to reach for everyone, from family to tourists to children, which is very important to me. I want kids from every neighborhood to experience these terrific natural treasures. And when I talk about kids, most of you know we have a Camp Harvey out in Long Island. Do you realize 2/3 of those kids never knew there was islands out here? If we brought them out to Long Island and educated them about the other islands. This opens up a whole new world to a lot of young people in the city of Boston. I see visitors walking the Freedom Trail or exploring Faneuil Hall and Quincy Market, making their way over to the pavilion and learn about the totally different part of our city. So once people get out there, they will always have fun. They want to keep coming back. So I'm glad the pavilion will make it easier for people to connect with the Harbor Islands. And also this means more people coming to the Greenway, where the warm warm weather, residents, visitors are coming to the Greenway. And so, like I said earlier, come back this weekend, see the activities that are here. That's why it's so important to preserve and protect the Greenway. It's not about development here. It's about people enjoying the open space. It's about connecting downtown with the waterfront. That's why we did this. We hid the second green monster in our city underground. Now people are able to look in, walk, and enjoy our city. So I just want to say to everyone, thank you for doing a great job. Yes, we went through some difficult times. We went through a project of this magnitude. Let me tell you, I want to thank the governor and his team, what they've done, the Harbor Island Alliance, all the folks who made today's possible. Thank our two federal officials, Senator Kennedy, of course, who's been there with Dave from day one, and Representative Capuano. Thank you for staying with us on this issue. This is a part of Boston's future. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you very much, Mayor. You are a true champion of the islands, and you mentioned the George's Island. That's where a new visitor center has been opened, and it is absolutely lovely, and where we are hosting our annual gala this time next week. And I'm sure, Tom, probably there are a few seats left if anybody wants to join us out there. So now it is my great pleasure and honor to introduce our next speaker, who will introduce our special guest, and that is Peter Mead. Peter has a remarkable connection to this, both this pavilion and to the Rose Kennedy Greenway and to Senator Kennedy, having served as the first chair and organizing chair of the Rose Kennedy Greenway, and serving for many years in an advisory capacity to the senator, and also on the creation of the Senator Kennedy's Institute. So it's my honor to introduce to you Peter Mead.
Thank you very much. Good morning to all. So many people have been mentioned, and it's the truth in terms of how you put this together. I would like to introduce Georgia Murray, who's the chair of the Rose Kennedy Greenway Conservancy and is doing a terrific job at that. I think if Rose Kennedy could be with us today, she would quote the poet Elizabeth Barrett Browning, speaking for the Greenway. Stay with me, the best is yet to be. And I think for those of us who have walked this Greenway so many times, you have a sense that it's always evolving and getting better, and it's a wonderful, wonderful matter for us. I first heard discussion of how the Greenway and the Harbor Islands hooked together when Senator Kennedy called me one day and said, do you have time for lunch with the mayor and me? Like anybody would say no to that, right? And we sat and had lunch. We were in Brighton, accommodating the mayor's schedule of where he had to be, and listening to the two of them talk about how this connects and it opens up the city to the harbor and how important it all is. And as they were talking, I began to understand even better how important the Greenway was to our city. And it does connect us. It reconnects us to the harbor that was shut off. I don't forget, as I look at this pavilion, that the Harbor Islands became part of the National Park Service because Congressman Joe Moakley and Senator Kennedy made it happen. And when people talk about funding for things, none of us should forget that Congressman Capuano and Senator Kennedy were the people who made sure that the funds were available to do this. And I think we all know of Senator Kennedy's love for the ocean and love for this city, and how thrilled he was that people were beginning to get out on the harbor. When Senator Kennedy wrote a memoir about his life, the title was True Compass. Ladies and gentlemen, his love, his inspiration, his partner, and his true north, Vicki Reggie Kennedy.
Thank you, Peter, so much. Thank you for those warm words. And Doug and Tom, thank you so much for your leadership here. Peter, thank you. Thank you for being the first chair of the Rose Kennedy Conservancy, Greenway Conservancy, and for all the work you did to get us to this point, and for being the founding CEO of the Edward M. Kennedy Institute for the United States Senate, and for your leadership there. And what a friend you were to Teddy, what a friend you are to me. It's just such an honor to be here. Thank you for introducing me so warmly. Mr. Mayor, it is always wonderful to be here with you. The leadership you give to this great city, the leadership you have provided for this greenway that bears Rose Kennedy's name. Teddy loved working with you on this. I can't count the number of times the two of you met, the number of phone calls you made to bring this entire dream to a reality. And Barbara Capuano, it is you, my dear friend. I'm so happy that you are here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all the work that Mike did to help this become a reality as well. And I want to, behind every great man is a great woman, and this is one fabulous, fabulous woman. Secretary Mullen, Assistant Secretary Cash, thank you so much. And I want to say a very, very special word because Teddy had such respect for the National Park Service and the work that all of you do. Thank you so much for what you do. Thank you, thank you, thank you. How Teddy would have loved this day. How he looked forward to this day. His mother, Rose Fitzgerald Kennedy, was born in the heart of the North End, not far from here on Garden Court Street. Her father, now you can see her father's name just in tiny little letters above Surface Road, John F. Fitzgerald, Surface Road, up there. Her father believed in the great outdoors. Honey Fitz, the former mayor of Boston, and his daughter, Rose Fitzgerald Kennedy, believed that too. And she taught her children that every child should have the ability to breathe fresh air, to experience playing on green grass, to enjoy the outdoors, to be able to look out to sea. And every day of her life, and I mean this, rain or shine, until the last of her 104.5 years, Rose Fitzgerald Kennedy was outside, breathing in the fresh air. Her baby boy, Edward Kennedy, was the same way. He loved the outdoors, and he believed that every child should have that ability to enjoy the outdoors. We would sit on the porch in Hyannisport and look out to sea, and every day he would say, "Aren't we lucky?" When we were courting, he took me around Boston, and he showed me the old emerald necklace. And he said, this is the way it was planned to be. And we were in the throes of the big dig. And he said, there's going to be a reconnection with the land again. This expressway, this old green, crusty expressway is going to come down. And there'll be something that's a new emerald necklace in Boston. And it's going to come down and we'll reconnect the land to the sea here. It'll be a new emerald necklace. Back then, he didn't know it would be named for his mother. But how proud he was when the people of Massachusetts wanted to name this greenway after his mother, because she cared about the outdoors and the children, and that's really what this is all about. How many times I heard him say, what city has the natural resources that we have? What harbor has 34 islands that are just waiting to be explored? And I must tell you, on many of our, one of our family trips, he actually took us to several of the islands. I think we toured just about every national park in Massachusetts on our family history trips. But the Boston Harbor Islands tour was a unique and special time because he loved the sea and how he would love this magnificent pavilion and the ability to see tactically, to walk on the islands here in this pavilion. Here where you unite the best of nature with this tactile ability to see where they're going to go on the ocean, with technology that's 21st century technology, where you've got solar panels up here in this beautiful architectural masterpiece, where you've got total electrical zero, zero net energy. I like that. I wanted to say it in the right way. It creates all of its own energy right here. What could be more perfect? Environmentally perfect in the 21st century. We're looking out to sea, we're breathing clean air, and we've got a perfect zero net energy, creating our own energy. How future generations will look back at what you've accomplished, what we've accomplished here in Boston at the Rose Kennedy Greenway in the Boston Harbor Alliance Pavilion here today, and say, well done. And I say, well done, congratulations.
Thank you so much for those remarks, Vicki. And I think I speak for everybody on the Boston Harbor Island Alliance board and staff, and really everyone who worked on this project, to say it is a source of immense satisfaction and pride that Senator Kennedy would have felt so proud and been so happy to be here today and see the result of this. And speaking of that, one more shout out I want to give. As any of you who work with federal funding know, it's really important to have the lead, the elected official behind you, but the real nuts and bolts gets done with the staff person. And Jay McCarthy from Senator Kennedy's staff flew up here from Washington today, and he was really the guy I worked with most carefully on the funding. Jay, you should take a bow. You're a key part of this. It's now my pleasure to introduce Audrey O'Hagan, who is the chairman of the Boston Society of Architects. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Good morning. It's really great to be here on this very festive and wonderful occasion. Very passionate speech there. I really appreciate that. On this festive occasion, it is my special honor to present the Boston Harbor Island Alliance with the BSA's Commonwealth Award. The Boston Society of Architects established the Commonwealth Award 26 years ago to recognize people and influences, other than architects, of course, for outstanding influence on the built environment and our awareness of it. The list of past honorees include the Boston Public Library, First Night, Boston by Foot, the Boston Globe, Mr. Norman Leventhal, and Emerson College, just to name a few. And we're delighted, absolutely delighted, to add the Boston Harbor Island Alliance to that list. Over the years, BHIA has done a wonderful job of highlighting the intersection between the built and natural aspects of this vast park. It has taken real vision to introduce programming such as Art on the Harbor Islands or the innovative Bumpkin Island Art Encampment Program, where teams of artists bivouac on the island with the charge to create site-specific installations that improve the campsite. This vision extends not only to the content of the programming and the value of good design, but to the cultivation of collaborative partnerships with organizations such as the Institute of Contemporary Art, which was instrumental in the Art on the Harbor Islands project. Architects often remark that great projects require great clients. It's an old maxim, but still a true one. After all, it's the clients who ultimately bring the vision and guide a project's soul. This is particularly true for organizations with a mission to engage the public. When the client believes that great architecture enhances civic life, then so does the public who come to explore, work, live, and play there. This belief empowers designers to do their very best work. Just look at where we stand today This open-air structure gracefully yet powerfully provides an elegant shelter and information center for visitors. And we appreciate the vision and excellent design by Util, again, and their team. It is the main downtown gateway to the Boston Harbor Islands, offering exhibits, seating, and, as was already mentioned, this terrific solar energy panels. And here it stands today, free for Boston citizens and visitors to enjoy year-round. Bringing better facilities and more activity to the islands gives everyone who visit them a stake in the public's future by providing free programs and free options for ferrying over to them. BHIA helps ensure that everyone, especially our city's underserved, can also enjoy, protect, and love the islands. Every bit of work done here on the Greenway and out there in the park is the result of vision, passion, collaboration, and a determination to improve the environment that was handed to our generation in trust for the future. BHIA consistently leads our community by example, by bringing thoughtful, accessible, and excellent design to the public realm. And now, it is my absolute pleasure to present to you the Boston Harbor Island Alliance with the 2011 Commonwealth Award. Oh, there you are. Great. And that reads, for notable leadership in bringing design excellence to Boston's public realm and highlighting the intersection of the built and natural environments. Thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you very much, Audrey. That's a terrific honor, and I accept it on behalf of the whole organization and the many trustees. Now, finally, it's my pleasure to introduce our partner in all of this, the representing the National Park Service, and that is Bruce Jacobson, who will conclude our program.
Thank you. I'd first like to thank a few folks as well. First, Dennis Reidenbach, who is the Northeast Regional Director of the National Park Service. Thank him for all of his support. I see some friends out there. Many of you know George Price, Superintendent of Cape Cod, and our other superintendents who have joined us today from other Massachusetts national parks. Kelly Fellner is back here, along with our other NPS staff, many of whom are from behind the scenes from our State Street office. Thank you for all of their help. And other members of the Boston Harbor Islands Partnership. I see Tony and Arthur and Jim and others who serve to make all of this work together. The pavilion has many meanings, as our guests have expressed. It's a gateway for kids. It connects the people of Boston and kids to the Boston Harbor Islands. It's a link to those islands. This pavilion, as has been said, activates the Greenway. It's the best of nature and technology together. It's a place where dreams become reality. And it's a place where people who love the outdoors and history can get meaning. But for me, the Boston Harbor Islands are really about two things: visitors and parks. For visitors, it's noteworthy that the pavilion is not about a single bureaucracy or organization. We've been very careful to highlight the many partners that cooperatively manage the park. We've taken into the account the desires of our neighbors, and I wish to thank and acknowledge our business and community friends who have joined us today. And unlike many facilities, the design team did not build a monument to themselves. It is not about them. Instead, the pavilion is about visitors. To begin with, they had specialists in human psychology and design to lead the entire design team in understanding the visitor experience. The first step was not to draw a sketch of a building. No, the first step, the designers, was to visit the islands. They went for the island experience. The architects and the landscape architects then took that understanding of the visitor experience to masterfully design an environment that is visitor-centric, comprised of spaces that are comfortable and welcoming to people. Visitors are invited by these structures and the spaces, the displays, to become engaged. They are also welcomed by rangers Look at the smiling faces from DCR and the NPS behind me here. And unlike traditional visitor centers, rangers here are not hidden behind a desk. They are walking among the islands on the granite map, greeting visitors. So the pavilion is about visitors and creating a park gateway. So it's about visitors, it's also about parks. We think we've achieved our goal of creating a park gateway here. The building materials evoke the islands, the granite map, the slate walls, species surrounding us that remind us of the islands, the plant species, the beautiful photos. You can get ferry tickets here. Visitors can buy souvenirs, sundries, books, other gear to prepare them for their visit. But most importantly, visitors are engaged by all of this. However, not only is the pavilion a gateway to the islands, the Boston Harbor Islands themselves are gateways to other protected areas. The islands are full of history. Look at the folks who are helping us commemorate the 150th anniversary of the American Civil War. We have one of the most important sites in New England related to the Civil War. So I hope you will come out and help us commemorate that at the Boston Harbor Islands. It's also a place for visitors and families to come and be active outdoors. So come and move outside as part of Michelle Obama's Let's Move campaign. We hope that our engagement here and on the islands will lead to visits and caring stewardships for other protected places in Boston, the Commonwealth, and the National Park System. So in conclusion, thank you for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you on the islands, which are minutes away, worlds apart. Visit the Boston Harbor Islands and experience your America.
Thank you very much, Bruce. This concludes our formal program, and now we're going to invite Vicki Kennedy to come up and do a ceremonial cutting of the ribbon for the center. Thank you very much, everyone, for attending.